You have a sense that you're onto something without knowing really what it is, what it will become, and how you get from here to there. You don't know that. You oftentimes cannot know that, and you don't have to know it because you will learn it as you go. You find that things change. The road changes. The scenery changes, and you have to make adjustments that you couldn't even have thought of before you got started.
You can kind of scale that down to a writer and their work and opening the doors to the creativity and putting pen to paper. And I mean, you're a writer. You must know that feeling, and to not know exactly where it's going, but know that you're onto something, and you're onto something special. I think that's
true, and that is where many aspiring writers stop and quit because they don't trust that they're onto something really good, because they don't have more than that general idea that they want to put down on paper. Maybe half of the first chapter, but I cannot start writing because I don't have chapter 2, I don't have chapter 3, much less the end chapter. Nobody does, or few people do. You get started, and then you hear that so often, but it's true. The story writes itself. Now that said, chapter 1 is rarely the chapter 1 that ends up in your book. Most authors don't find their rhythm, their writing rhythm, until well into that book. Every book has its own pace, its own speed, its own rhythm, almost its own language, so to speak, and you don't get into it until you're well into it. In many cases, you just finish the book and then go back as you edit what you wrote. Be prepared to write chapter 1, 2, 3 all over again, so that they finally match the pace and the rhythm that you developed over time.
As you're talking about that, it kind of struck me how you can also scale that from the book aspect into PublishAmerica and the publishing industry at large. Because as you said, you and Larry didn't really know what to expect, but you were ready, and I take it you had a trust in yourself that what you were doing, you were onto something.
I had in my basement 600 manuscripts that were unpublished. And I remember the day that Larry and I had lunch together, and we talked about maybe setting up this company together. I told him, you have to come see my basement. Oh, his eyes became big when he saw the wall. All the walls were covered with manuscripts. I said, this is where we can start. We have a leg up on everyone else. We can just start offering a publishing contract for totally free to all these 600 people. And that's how we got started. So I sent a message to each and every author who sent me a manuscript and offered them a contract. I said, we're going to publish you for free. You don't pay a penny. We just trust that we will sell enough copies to make this profitable. All in all, about 450 of the 600 said, yeah, we'll sign that contract. And that's how I came at that number of maybe 1,000. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Because that seemed feasible when you worked with 600 at first. This was when I signed the first contract for PublishAmerica in January of the year 2000. And at our first Christmas party, office Christmas party that year, we had signed up 1,000 authors. And by then we knew, in the name of you're onto something, that we were onto something bigger than we at first thought we would be.